thinking time.
Say I'm a food writer.
Yeah.
Because
Can I tell a story or should it just be really short? I'll just do whatever.
either way.
Okay. My name is Dani Valent and I am a food writer based in Melbourne. I'm a food writer because I'm always looking for opportunities to connect people, and food is just the best, hands down, way to do that. Everybody eats, everybody cares about food, and if they don't, I want them to, so I'm going to find a way to interest them. I just think we tell our richest and most beautiful, heartfelt, meaningful stories around food, and if I can be a part of that, then it's honestly my honour and pleasure every single day. I first started writing about food when I was working as a travel author for guidebook publisher Lonely Planet. They started doing guides to world cuisine, and I was thrown onto one of those. I was asked to write the book about Turkish food. And all of a sudden, instead of tramping up 6 flights of stairs to check if the showers ran hot at a backpacker hostel, I was going down laneways looking for the best chicken kebabs and finding the guy who made that yogurt. And I instantly fell in love with food writing and the way that it could connect me to people and the things that were so important to them, really close to their hearts, very, very quickly. And that's why I'm still doing it, because it allows me to connect with people, beautiful people, doing things that mean a lot to them and to tell their stories. I mean, I love food, who doesn't? But I think that food writing can become really addictive, and it's easy to be passionate about it because you do have to eat, so it might as well be amazing. And there's endless opportunities to satisfy your curiosity by just learning more. I think as a food writer, I learn so much every single day, and I know that will never change, that it's always going to be an opportunity to keep learning. Every day I realise how little I know, and I also realise how many more people there are to meet, to talk to about food, to just, revel in flavours and context and, travel and all the rich stories and feelings and connections that happen around food. So I know I'm never going to get sick of it. I know it'll always be interesting, and I know it'll always challenge me. So I am addicted to it. I'm never going to stop. Hospitality matters more than ever right now. I think the pandemic has shown us different and new ways that we're connected. We probably were already connected in those ways, but we never quite realised, the rich web of connections and contexts. And I think, pandemics, as we've perhaps all learnt, really highlight the fault lines in society. And I think hospitality is a place where people meet, people of all different, types and interests and histories meet and gather around food and in restaurants, whether they're in the kitchen or, spending thousands of dollars on the dining floor. So I think it's a place where we can learn a lot about one another, and a place where we can help spark change that will have really far-reaching ripples. When times are tough, I think hospitality can give us so much and show us so much. It's a place where people go to mark the important occasions. It's a place where people meet and connect with people that they might not normally interact with, whether that's someone from a different culture, someone who speaks a different language, someone who's had a very different story. So I think, hospitality always offers a forum for rich engagement, but I think when we're open and we're thoughtful, as we are right now, then I think it's even more important. There are always important stories to tell in food and drink. I think right now, the ones that seem the biggest and the most pressing for me are around the connections with producers. So I suppose the questions that I'm asking and that I see a lot of other people asking around me is, how do we write menus that are sensitive to the things that are happening on farms? How do we think about eating when the climate crisis is upon us? How do we think about paying people and looking after people when these interactions are so complex and money might be tight, but it's really important to pay people well, whether that's the person in the restaurant or the farmer or the person delivering the food. It's also fraught, but also it's so rich in possibility for change. I know, even though I've been anointed a legend, I don't really feel like I'm qualified to offer that much advice to people, but I think, you know, one of my guiding principles has always been saying yes. It's always about being open to opportunity and about bravely striding along a path before me, even if it was all a little bit scary and unknown. I think things are quite scary and unknown now, more than they were when I was starting out my career. But I think, you know, bravery and kindness and trust that most people will want the best for you has, you know, helped me along the way, and perhaps might help other people too. I suppose over the past couple of years, I've not strategically, but just as it's happened, expanded my role a little bit from a food writer, restaurant critic, you know, feature writer, to a bit more of an advocate. And in two ways, well, there's been two main parts to that. One has been advocating for temporary visa holders, who are a crucial part of our hospitality world. And we know that because we could see then that if and when they left Australia, as so many of them did, we would be in even more of a staffing crisis than we were 2 years ago. Hello, that's come to pass. So I advocated for them, gave them information, you know, made soup with Ben Shuri at Attica. So I did a few things in that regard, and hopefully just helped people feel a little bit seen and supported, because has been a terrible situation. And the other thing I've tried to do is, I suppose, using my journalistic skills, is to sift the absolute torrent of information that's been thrown at us, and sift it and dissect it and what's the word when you do that? The other thing I've tried to do is sift, dissect and make sense of the torrent of information that's been thrown at restaurateurs and hospitality workers, and be a bit of an information resource in that regard as people have tried to navigate the constant rule changes and shifting ground of the pandemic. So I think for me that's been an interesting I've noticed something else that I can do with my skills as a food writer, and hopefully that's been as helpful to people as telling them where to get, you know, some really great smashed avo or whatever I do in the light fluffy side of food writing.